You are now listening to Broken Line Podcast, presented by Fish Addictions TV. Broken Line Podcast is sponsored by Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobber, Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear, 13 Fishing, Striker Ice, Coles Resort of Bemidji, Minnesota, Aaron Eichhorst Photography.
We are back for another podcast.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, he gets excited.
Best friend.
My best friend. We're back for another one.
Yep.
And we're two best friends that anyone could ever ask for.
You guys should sing the song.
Wait till Valentine's
Two
Day.
best friends that anyone could.
Oh, I can't wait till the Valentine's Day podcast. That's going to get real.
We're going to have, like, back in those old days where we have a little box that has the little cards or whatever you put in there. But we're back again with another podcast, and we got another special guest, Tony Aloia with Acme Tackle, as well as a bunch of other affiliations of other companies. It's good to have you on.
Good
Hey.
to be here, gentlemen.
What's going on, Tony?
Enjoying my time in Beltrami County.
And
Nice.
how'd you get to Beltrami County? What's the plan? There's got to be some sort of reason why.
Well, came up to do a little fishing, a little filming. Mr. Eichhorst is going to give me some tips and tricks on video editing, and most importantly, to come sit and talk with you gentlemen.
A little bit of photo action, a
Awesome.
little bit of video, a little bit of photo editing, a little bit of Broken Line podcast.
Oh, hey, Aaron, is this that $200 an hour gig you were telling me about that you had to do? This teaching class?
Sure.
Oh, he doesn't know about that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That's
Never mind.
the clock started 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Like
check your
$200 an
mail
hour.
in like 3 weeks.
Just kidding.
We have a new address. I hope I get that to you.
Yeah. Well, so in the studio today we do have Ellen, which is Patrick's daughter. So she is off. She's just enjoying a little live Broken Line action, but
Having a little snack.
a little snack over in the
Little
corner.
snack, got the headphones on, and we're watching some Shrek.
So if Patrick disappears in the video, we know where he's at.
Yeah.
I'm sort of jealous. That looks like a good snackaroo.
There's a
When he said he was going to get her a little snack, that's a lunch I dream of every
I
day
just
at
started
work.
packing stuff into this lunchbox just to
Beef
keep
jerky,
her,
candy,
keep her
pudding.
busy.
Imagine being married to that guy.
Wow.
That'd be a lunchbox to look forward to.
That's why I'm not 120 pounds. But so Tony, tell me a little bit about who you are. So the average person that's listening or watching, they've never heard of you. Maybe they've never heard of Acme Tackle, which how can you not? Or Eskimo, as you've affiliated
Sure.
with Eskimo. Tell me a little bit about who you are, so people get an idea.
So who I am, we'll talk about, if you want to talk about what we did in the industry or what I've done in the industry, we could talk about that a little bit. But who am I as a person? 37 years old, diehard fisherman, diehard husband to my wife, Nicole.
Boom.
Awesome.
I miss you, babe. Been married for a year and a half. Just recently moved to southern Wisconsin, outside of Madison, from northern Wisconsin, over by Cumberland, like you mentioned, Eskimo.
Little Wisconsin. We get a little Wisconsin feel of
Wisconsin love,
yeah.
for sure. And in fact, we'll get into that here in a second because I brought you some gifts from Wisconsin.
Again, I'll feel like the odd man out.
From the gift? No, you're getting a gift.
Wisconsin.
Oh, from Wisconsin. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're both from, or I'm from Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin.
That's all right.
It's a loving state.
I mean,
You're one of us. Look at you, wear the plaid well.
yeah, I do.
Fly-
It's the physique.
You're basically flying the Wisconsin flag there.
No, that's more of a Bemidji, Minnesota thing. We got Paul and Babe.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
See,
We're
it's a,
flannel
it's
country.
a shared love.
yeah.
That's more of a Packer type county, country type deal down there.
But that sweatshirt,
Yep.
that came
Okay.
from...
Cumberland, Wisconsin.
There's a lot of places that claim Paul and Babe.
Brainerd, Wisconsin.
There's joints out in Oregon.
Really?
Oh yeah.
There's no trees. Well, there's trees out
There's
there.
trees
there's-
over there.
I was thinking of the coast. So, 37
Sorry to cut you
years
off
old,
on, who you are.
Southern Wisconsin now, and diehard ice fisherman. And fortunate to be a part of the ice fishing industry for the last, going on 10 years now. So, and happy to be here with you guys today.
I've known you for at least 3 of those years. 4.
It's been
5.
longer than that.
4 or
It's pushing
5.
4 or 5. That's actually
That's
a good
almost
story.
halfway through your career in the ice. How did you get into the ice fishing industry? So
Right.
we've talked about it in a few podcasts how someone can get into someone's shoes that's in the industry. How did you become part of in the industry.
Sure. So like everything that's going on a 10-year plus story, it can get long. So cut me off when you guys start to fall asleep.
I want to hear the whole thing because I don't know this story, and
Well,
I've known you for a long time.
I'm happy to share it with you then.
Nice.
So 2009, I'm 29 years old, and I eat, sleep, drink, breathe, ice fishing in general, but really ice fishing. It's April. I'm living just outside of Chicago, and I'm sitting there watching TV, going through my DVR, and the Ron Schara Legends of Rod and Reel came on with Dave Gens. And I watched it, and I always looked up to Dave Gens and enjoyed thoroughly that episode. And one thing that stood out to me was he said, my gift to myself for my 40th birthday was I quit my job and I went into the ice fishing industry full time. And that just, it hit me. I was in the medical device industry, had a good gig, fished NAFC tournaments quite a bit, so I had some involvement.
What year did you fish those tournaments?
Oh, that would have been 08, 09 through now. So being in the industry, one thing that I found is that your fishing time, unfortunately, sometimes goes down a little bit. But year to year, it goes up and down and ebbs and flows. But I still try to fish at least 1 or 2 a year.
Okay.
My partner, Fred Byler, and I always try to hit the tournament in Menominee, Wisconsin on Monoman.
Right. Well, I was just curious because it was about that time I discovered the show, The Iceman.
Absolutely, yeah.
Were you on that?
I was not one of the chosen ones, but I know the guys who were, and there's a reason they were on there. Those guys can catch fish. Those guys still, those same names are still at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I'm friends with a handful of those guys personally. There.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that. That's cool.
Good group of dudes. So I had a little bit of involvement with the industry. Just that's what fueled my passion. I worked from home. I had a lot of vacation time, and when I wasn't working, I was thinking about ice fishing, and I was traveling. So fast forward, it's April. Actually, I remember the date because it was my mom's birthday. It was April 14th, 2009. I was 29 years old, and I said, I'm going to be turning 30 soon. And Dave Gens gave himself the birthday present when he was 40 of joining the ice fishing industry full time. I said, I got to figure out how to do that. So I didn't sleep that night. And at about 4:45 in the morning, I just got up. I went to my computer, and I looked up one of the producers of that show, one of the gentlemen who worked for Ron Schara Productions, and I just basically sent him an email and sort of poured out my soul. And a gentleman by the name of Todd Seibel, and he helped me. He emailed me back that next morning, and basically I told him I want to be a part of the industry in a greater way, and told him a little bit about myself, and told him some of the things that I wanted to do, and he started kind of giving me some pointers, and he introduced me to a couple other people who helped me do some writing and some freelance type stuff, and one thing led to another. I started getting some articles published just on how I fished, how you would go and look for fish in a tournament scenario through the ice, all of those things, and that sort of started to get my name out there a little bit as a pro staffer. That next year in December, I went up to the St. Paul Ice Show, and I had been talking to some of the guys from Eskimo because I used all their products. And I looked Graham Ruppel actually in the eye, and I said, Graham, one day I'm going to make my living full-time in the ice fishing industry. And one thing led to another. I would go to the shows. I would do TV for them, do writing. Basically, spent a lot of my vacation time and a lot of my own dollars traveling and helping the companies that I work with promote. So I started working with St. Croix Rods, started working with Markham Technologies with John and Steve, over there doing some promotional work for them. Would do in-store events, would be done at the in-store events. I'd keep track of all my sales at Cabela's or whatever store I was at, and I would send them spreadsheets afterwards of how many of my units went out the door, how many of their units went out the door, how many, all the just inventory, and sort of worked my way up through the pro staff ranks and really built a close relationship with all the guys at Eskimo. And one thing led to another. After one of the St. Paul shows about a year later, they reached out to me and they said, Tony, we know you have a background in sales and marketing, and we're wondering if you'd be interested in interviewing. We're creating a director of sales or national sales manager position for our Eskimo lines. We want to focus our service lines, and we think you'd be a great guy to look at having come on board and doing it. So it was a couple weeks later that I was up in Cumberland interviewing, and I kind of thought it was a long shot, but it worked out. So it was pretty cool.
Some of the best shots are long shots. You just got that snowball rolling.
Well, yeah, it was purely just reaching out and having as many contact points as I can or could, and it still is that way to this day. That's my favorite thing about this industry. There's two things that really drive this industry, and two things that make this industry really awesome, and two things that make this industry different from waking up every day and putting on a suit and tie and going to doctors' offices and working with them on selling them diagnostic equipment. The difference is the people and the passion. Right. And so many people now that I work with are my closest friends, and so many people that I get to talk to day in, day out, whether it's a customer, a fisherman who uses our stuff, somebody at a show, one of our pro staffers, it's the passion. That's the cool thing about ice fishing. That's what keeps me going is we all, year round. I mean, I have one buddy who basically every July calls me and sounds like he's about to jump off a cliff because the after ice glow from the year before is kind of worn off, and he knows it's going to be 3 or 4 months until the next one comes around. But that's us, right? That's our people. That's who we are. It's all about year round thinking about being on the ice.
I just said the other day at work, if I could find a place to live that would allow me to ice fish all year round, I probably would. Not that I don't like overwater fishing. It's just there's something about the ice fishing and the crew and the crew.
Do you guys think that's part of why we all go so nuts for it is because we can't have it year round? Like, there's other things you can do.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can find, but you can't you can't make ice. You can go seek out other places to fish in the winter, and you can go to Florida and get in the boat, and you can do different types of hunting throughout the year. But if there's no ice, you just can't ice fish.
I think that's what did it for me. I lived for 7 years in Kentucky. And I didn't ice fish for 7 years.
You survived it, though.
So when I came back, that's all I wanted to do.
I think it's magical because water is such a scientific, magical thing. Like, we can be sitting out there in a boat, and then 4 months later, 1 month later, you're standing over that. I mean, I was just down there. We had the Glacier wheelhouse down there. We were doing a little bit of video stuff with it just the other day. And I couldn't make it back up the ramp here at the resort. And next thing you know, I was like, what am I to do? I got to go all the way to the landing. So here I am sitting there with my truck hooked up to the glacier, and I'm like, just going to do it. Yeah. And can you imagine for someone who isn't from around here that I was in the middle of the lake with my pickup truck? Think of how magical that is.
It's mind-blowing to people.
I mean, and that might be part of the whole mystery of ice fishing. It's different.
It is.
It's so unique.
Well, and it's communal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't put 30 of your closest friends in your 18-foot boat and go hang out with them, but we sure do that a lot on the ice together, don't we?
All of us. 10, 12, 15 people.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
It is what it is. So you started out fishing tournaments, and then you moved from the tournaments to figuring out about how you made a judgment call by messaging someone to
email back then.
Email someone after getting inspiration through
couldn't sleep that night,
all that stuff, and then from there you started doing writing.
Yep, freelance writing,
pro staffs, freelance writing, etc. And then probably the greatest thing you just said in your story was how much you decided to put it into a full-time position to promote other companies. That's what I think a lot of pro staff managers need, is someone that has the drive to promote their product as much as what you just said. When you drive around to go to all these different stores, all these different things, and then you take spreadsheets, which to our staff here at Fish Addictions, I hope they listen and watch that, because for you to take a spreadsheet from a show and put how much you sold, how much the other people sold, and then deliver that back to Fish Addictions or to that company and be like, because wouldn't you at Acme want to know how much Acme stuff was sold at Cabela's that one day?
Certainly.
You know, in a sense. I mean, and to be able to compare, even if you're not the number one sold, you can still see you have someone that is there delivering.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
If you're not the number one, you need that information almost even more. And yeah, I agree. It's that I have a unique perspective on some of that because I've literally seen it from working from the outside looking in to trying to get myself on pro staffs to, you know, the last five and a half years at Eskimo and the last year at Acme, where literally all the resumes and all the inquiries come to me. So I've seen it sort of full circle from doing it myself to getting the dozens of requests or more each week and each day for I want to be on your pro staff. I need to be on your pro staff. And
we've had a lot of people ask us in the last 2 or 3 weeks how to get on the pro staff. So from your point of view in your company, what do you look for when someone sends you a Facebook message, they send you an email? Because we get bombarded with it. I know you get bombarded with it. What do you look for or what do you not like when people reach out to you? Because in a sense, that's exactly what you did. You reached out.
It is exactly what I did, yeah. So the difference, that's a long question, and I'm happy to answer it because I think people out there need to know if they truly want to do it, because it's easy. 80% to 90% of the resumes are all the same. And a lot of people don't even have resumes, and it's not the resume that's important, but the way to approach it, and the way to approach it with me at least, and most of the people in the industry that I talk to, no matter what company they're from, is number one, under promise and over deliver. So many of the people come at it from the approach of, I love to fish and I use your products. Well, that's great, but actually I call that a customer,
Right.
That's the best answer.
Right?
You could, I call that a customer. That should be on a T-shirt. Jesus, that's good.
So, when somebody really stands out, it's because they're doing something to make themselves stand out. And they don't just have a handout saying, I use your stuff, send it to me for free. Literally, if you're doing that, I've got stacks this big on my desk.
Thousands of people that are looking. And we've just told on. Sorry to cut you off. What we've told so many times is anyone could take a picture and and send it to you on Facebook, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So be known for something. Sharing posts on your social media is great, but anybody can do that. Anybody that takes 1 second.
Be
right?
unique.
Be unique. Be known for something. What are you known for? Do you write articles? Do you give seminars? Do you want to do in-store events? And that's the one thing that I think that's one of the other big things that people need to realize is it's not just all about fishing, because we all like to fish. We're all fishermen and fisherwomen and fisher children like Ellen. It's how do you want to help promote the brands, and what are you going to do to really drive it as a promoter and a professional? I mean, there's always that question: is pro staff? Does that mean promotional staff or professional staff? You can go either way with that.
Oh no, you can go one way.
There's
promotional.
It's promotional. It is.
That's what I prefer to call it.
Yeah, it is. It's because the professionals are out there on the bass circuit and running the boats, and those guys are pros. They're fishing for a living, literally.
They're making pros to me. I'm a professional photographer because it's my profession.
That's how you make your living.
Money, exactly.
Right.
And I think I've gone through the pro staff deal when I was younger, and I absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because you can take a logo and slap it on your jersey, or you can feel that you're part of a family and a company, and you can feel like you have a bond between someone, and you want to help them out.
Definitely.
Because you believe in their product.
Definitely.
And
You believe in the company.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in the people that are involved in the company. It's
well, and you want to contribute to the company.
Exactly. You want to help it grow.
Mm-hmm. And you want to share ideas, and they're well-founded ideas, not just, oh, you should do this. This company's doing that. Those are the ones that get me all geeked up, and those are the guys that get calls back and let's talk. We're gonna, and I always take the philosophy we're gonna start small. Sometimes that weeds people out. They want whatever right away. Well, that's not the way it works. You really want to do this. The good ones have all come to me and said, yeah, I'll start small because they know they're going to prove themselves. They're in it for the
Right.
long haul, right? It's not just give me a shack or an auger or give me some tackle and I'll talk to you in 5 years. It's okay. Yeah, I already use your stuff anyway, and I think that's a key, prerequisite too. Like a lot of them, you get it's just people you can tell it's a chain letter, right? Well, send me some pictures with my tackle hanging out of a fish's mouth. Show me you actually use it. Or do you want to just be affiliated with any old tackle company? That's not really appealing.
Yeah, if you're like, oh, there's 65 tackle companies up there, I'm going to do the same message to all of them and try to get one. You're not doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that in other situations.
And there's a term that's gone around before. They're the product hoppers.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I do a
that.
year here, year there, year here, year there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's, in my mind, there's a lot of people that just want to fish. They just want to be fishermen, fisherwomen, whatever. But there's a lot of people that if they could get their foot in the door to do something, they will, because I've seen all the messages fly around. So
tons of them.
If 50,000 people want to all, be a pro staff of a company, well, how are you going to do different and better than them? And if you're like, all right, I want to do one in-store thing, you're like, perfect, that plus a bunch of other stuff, and then they surprise you by doing 4 in-stores. That's like you said, start small, work your way bigger. Always, if they want 5 pictures, do 45 pictures. If they want 3 videos, do 15 videos.
At the end of the day, it's to me, I treat it like a second job or a job.
It is.
I need to perform or I won't have this job. When I'm applying for something, I want to make myself like, yes, I can do all this stuff. And I have done all this stuff, but now I want to do it for you. Just like I would if I was applying for a different job somewhere else.
For sure. Yeah. It is. And
I don't think a lot of people understand that it's there's work involved.
It's not just a handout. I mean, there's way too many requests that we get for it to be just a handout, whether it was at Eskimo or at Acme or whatever. It needs to be sincere. I've literally received emails from people that have had the wrong company in. Just an obvious chain letter. Hey, I really love the shacks that Clam makes. Yeah, can I be on your pro staff? And I replied back, I think you have the wrong company. I don't work for Clam. I worked for Eskimo at the time. Same thing at Acme. I mean, I've seen that more than once. And actually, some of those people, I've literally picked up the phone and called them. I want to help people. If somebody sincerely wants to be a part of the industry, that's awesome. I think that's flattering to everybody, and I think, but I don't know that everybody always fully has an understanding of what that means. It's not just love to fish.
I don't think people have the full commitment in mind either. Like, I mean, the work that I do, the work that he does, the work that you do is people just, I don't think they get it.
It's 70 hours a week.
Yeah, exactly. It's a full-time job.
It's a love, but it's 70 hours a week.
I put my kid to bed, and it's 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and I'm sitting there, Acme has a commercial that they need done in 3 days. And
Sorry
there I
about
am
that.
trying to get it done because there was a commercial that I had, like, what was it, 3 days or so? It was a pretty tight little window of time.
And it was brilliant work.
And it ended up being a good, and it's got like 52,000 views. It's huge now. It's blowing up on social media, as it should. It's just the time you spend it is a lot, and I don't think when people sign up to get they want free product, they want to be a part of this, or they want a logo, whatever. I don't think they fully understand the work commitment that comes down into actually doing that job. I think, be like, you love to fish, just enjoy fishing, and
that's great, and that's awesome. Yeah, but it's a whole nother level. To put it in perspective, the job I had before I came to Eskimo, when I was in the medical device industry, I got 5 weeks a year vacation, plus they closed down a week for the holidays between Christmas and New Year's. Over 4 of those weeks were used to go promote and or fish tournaments in the industry. Literally, I used almost all my vacation time to go work this other job that was promoting for all these companies. And fortunately, my family was supportive, and they knew how much it meant to me. And even now, and that's another part of it, when you make that commitment, you have to have a supportive family. My wife is so understanding. Yeah. I mean, I'm up here. Christmas is, coming in a couple of days, and we're up here doing some filming and knocking out a podcast and getting a chat. But we do it because we love it, and I think our significant others and our families all understand that it is a part of who we are, and that it is.
And it takes a special understation.
It does.
Yeah.
Thank God for them, right?
Yeah.
I just did a podcast with Shack Talk, and I one of the things I literally said was, it's all family. I mean, because we were talking about filming in the industry. When you're getting sick, you're on the road, you're putting miles, you're putting hours. If we have 17 episodes like we do this year, that's 17 weekends or 17 3 to 5 day trips that I'm gone, away from my dog, away from my 9-month-old, away from
son.
My fiance. It's like it's for them to be stuck at home, and it is good. So I mean, from his daughter to your wife to everything, and it is. So yeah, thank you for everyone. I mean, I don't think people wrap their head around the concept of that, but I think the wives that do, or the girlfriends that do, actually, I think it's hard for them either way. It really is.
It's hard for them. They know
support.
Sorry, I mean.
No, they support. They love you. I mean,
they know it's a labor of love. What we do, we love it, and they know that. I mean, my wife knows. Even though she wants to see me, and I've been gone, and I have one more trip coming up, and this one, the last ones might have been sales calls or going out and taking care of some business and just back to back travel, getting on planes and taking care of the day-to-day business. And then there's one coming up that's we're going to go film, or we're going to go be on Lake of the Woods, or we're going to go up to the Angle or Devils or wherever we're going to go, and you're just looking forward to it. And you go home, and she's just like, just go. You need to get some time on the ice. I can tell. Like. They understand it, and we're so lucky. That's a big part of it, is having
come home for 3 days, and then you're back on the road for 4.
Yeah, you do it all winter.
Yeah, all winter long, and you got to have someone that's supportive. And wintertime is a rough time because also the cold, the depressing months.
They're shoveling, and
they're sitting in a dark house at 5 o'clock at night, and they assume you're out having fun with your buddies and fishing, and we are, and we're working too, and it's. You're tired, but it is. But we're lucky going back to it all. I mean, we're really, really fortunate because we are lucky. So yeah, that would be my advice though to people would be just you gotta be willing to give before you get. And if you believe in what you're doing, and when Mike and Josh came to me with fish addictions when I was at Eskimo, it was the same thing. They were willing to learn and willing to give before they received and willing to take advice. That's another thing that I see a lot of pro staffers, or a lot of people who want to be a part of the industry, which is great. They don't like to take the advice or the criticism, and sometimes that can weed you out of the industry real quick. I mean, word travels fast. It's a small industry. I mean, whether it's somebody at Rapala, Clam, 13, wherever it's at, or a retailer, everybody's got everybody in their cell phone, and if somebody...
We've said that before, that when you get into this side of it, it's very small, very, very small world.
It is. The portion that you just said, everyone has their... I mean, I just talked to Dave Gens 3 days ago, because we're trying to get him for a podcast, so that might be a future thing, but I mean, we do. We talk, we text, we email, we Facebook each other, and I was talking to Hawthorne the other day, and it's like,
is this the name drop section?
No, because if someone...
Matt Brewer.
Boom. Nailed it.
Tim
we
Furch.
Got it. Tim Furch.
If someone messages Hawthorne negative, and I talk to Hawthorne, or he talks to Hawthorne, next thing you know, that guy is negative to me because of what he said to Hawthorne or whatever. But yeah, Matt Brewer. Tim Furch. I like to drop a few names in here. I don't know why.
We didn't want to go another podcast without mentioning those two names.
Yeah, and that had nothing to do with what we were talking about, but we just had to name drop real quick.
You can't come to Beltrami County without dropping that name.
Even
if you're just driving through, roll the window down, yell that name. They're vital parts.
They're good guys.
Vital parts.
You can randomly get a flat tire, and one of them will just show up. They just know. Matt Brewer. Tim Furch.
So you came on a couple fish addictions trips with us in the last couple of years.
Been on quite a few.
Episode that's not out yet We went to Manitoba.
That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty awesome. So, what is it like from your perspective? You being in a company slash just being a fisherman. What's it like coming on a Fish Addictions shoot? Being part of.
So yeah, that's a great question. Every shoot's different, whether you're doing a Midwest Outdoors or a Babe Winkleman or Fish Addictions, and I've probably done the most with Fish Addictions and with you guys because
it's because we love you.
Well, I love you guys too. In fact, we'll even materialize that love here in a little bit. But
yeah,
I like materializing love.
Should we materialize it right now?
Let's just do it. We'll jump back to that question.
Let's do it right now.
We're going to materialize this.
This is nothing but love.
So one of my favorite people in the industry is Aaron Eichhorst. In a little bit, I'm going to tell probably the story of how we met and our history because he actually did the first ever Eskimo videos. We were introduced by, do you know who?
Tim Furch?
Tim Furch.
I was thinking something different.
And we came up and I'll share those stories. But Aaron is one of my favorite people in the industry. And as we are here at the end of the year, coming into Christmas and the holidays.
I'm very scared to know what's in that bag.
Tony, don't get choked up now.
I'm getting emotional.
I can tell.
I might need your help with this one.
What's in the bag?
I would like to present Aaron Eichhorst with an award.
Oh, my God.
He's got an award.
This is the 2017 My Favorite Millennial Award.
Oh, my...
which goes to Aaron Eichhorst.
Congratulations, buddy.
This is official. Yeah,
it's going up in the studio, bud.
That's not a participation ribbon. That's
not
a real
everybody
award.
Gets this trophy, from what I understand. This is the first one.
So
haven't we talked about millennials on this podcast and how I said they do it to eventually just piss me off.
But this is love.
I don't understand the question.
If anything, with what I don't remember what podcast we talked about it.
I'm sorry, dude.
I blew you off right now.
This is going to be the shortest podcast in the history of the Broken Line.
I don't remember what podcast we were in, but I said we brought up millennials, and I said
I think it was with Sam.
Was it with Sam?
Yeah.
Maybe. And I said that I have friends that call me. Yeah, it was with Sam. I have friends that call me millennials, and I was like, I don't know who can own 3 or 4 businesses and be called a millennial. If anyone wants to know who the guy that does it, it's this guy right here, Tony. He always pisses me off, but I still love him.
Look, I mean...
So here's the trophy.
That's the trophy right there.
So
it's official.
We'll put it in the podcast.
That trophy was earned. Maybe you could put... Right, it'd be cool if it was hung in a place of prominence. Like... Your My Favorite Millennial Award could be up top, and all of your participation ribbons could hang right down below. Now, that is given to you out of love, 100%, because I do tease you about it, just to clarify.
Oh, my God.
It's totally a tease, because you are one of the hardest working guys I know. And in fact, sometimes I drive around, and I spend a lot of time on the road, and I'll just be cruising down the road, and I'll just start laughing at something that you've said or you've done while we're on the ice recording. And I'll just pick up the phone and I'll call you and I'll be like, back it up, Terry.
Back it up, Terry.
Terry.
I miss a phone call. He'll text me, back it up, Terry. I'm like, all right, I got to call him.
So that had to be done, given that it's the end of the year. Oh, we've got one more section.
I'm glad you spent money on that.
I hope
it's
you enjoy
awesome,
that.
dude. It's going to stay right there. I'll make sure it stays there.
Honestly, I've never had anyone give me an award, so I super appreciate it.
Dude, it's earned. And I think maybe it'll be the end of the actual millennial teasing. It's now been consummated. Yeah, pretty officially.
I'll make sure the camera can.
That could be the end of it, Aaron.
But there are no term limits, so if there is a 2018 award, you'll still be able to be considered.
Well, I know for a fact it was getting that to the point where the last Fish Addictions shoot we went on was up in Manitoba, and that's kind of that thing I was just talking about. And
right.
I'm sitting in the cabin, and it's like every 30 seconds I'm. Hey, can someone hand me the cheese over there? I got to make a sandwich. Can't you get it yourself, you millennial? Like, that's what it's like all day long. Or watching football. Hey, millennial, turn it up.
Anthony, Mike, and I are relentless, but I might, I'll take the most relentless award because I don't know. I was having fun with it that week. But you know it's out of love.
Podcast, I'll have an award for you.
Much love. I'll take that award. But while we're presenting things, we are right before the Christmas season here.
So, yeah, we're filming this before Christmas.
It'll air a little later. Because you have so many guests that they're getting backed up, which is good.
We've turned down a few people just to.
But can I introduce a section just for when I come? Maybe or anybody. Big
Yeah.
Trev comes. Anybody.
I hope they come.
Let's do gifts.
I want Big Trev to come.
Let's do gifts from Wisconsin. I've brought you two.
Two
each.
Christmas gifts. Here we go.
Ooh.
Made in Wisconsin.
That's not a. That's not.
Beaver Dam tip ups. That is
Oh,
old
man.
school.
That's not a. So.
Sweet.
Appreciate it.
And then the other
you,
gift,
Tony.
I can't come from Wisconsin and not bring you some venison summer sausage, especially you. You're
I
from
love
Wisconsin. I'll
summer
hand it to you. I know it's in good hands.
Yes.
It did ride in the truck all day at -11, so she might take a little while to
A
thaw
little
out.
thick, a little,
She's
a
not
little
quite
cold.
street legal yet, but gifts from Wisconsin.
Bro, we appreciate
Pepper
it.
jack.
Oh, wait, there's pepper jack in it?
You know how we do.
Absolutely. Wisconsin
Boom.
people do it.
Wow,
big.
thanks, Tony. This is there's going to be some bourbon wrapped up with this one
I mean, all I can say is
Yes.
because you know me.
from
Yeah.
anyone that's watching, if you're not listening, but watching as well, the love we've had from our guests on this show is phenomenal. But not only are you a guest, you're a really good friend. And I'll just put this right in front of.
He almost called it a stupid award, but he stopped. It's okay.
I would have never guessed you were going to make that. But
That's why surprises are the best.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful time of year, Aaron.
Oh my gosh! So I'll post it on social media too. I'll
Dude,
take the
I'm
award.
psyched.
We'll take a picture of it right before we
Hold up. Technical timeout.
technical timeout with the iPad
Yeah.
with Ellen. So we thank you for the Christmas gift. So
You're very
now
welcome.
I have to think of something for you real quick.
Whoa, should we finish the Manitoba conversation?
Yeah, let's go back to just filming with. You said you film with other shows as well,
Yeah.
but a little bit more with Fish Addictions. What's it for the people who watch our show and they're like, we always hear from us, hey, you guys look like a bunch of people that would be fun to fish with.
Right, yeah.
So you've came on a couple road trips, 10-hour plus road trips. What's it like to be able to be with not only a good bunch of friends, but
which is
Fish.
comes first. Yeah. So first of all, you do an awesome job of depicting the trip as really how it actually is. You know, that feel, that camaraderie, that friendship, that high fiving, that packing up, running around until we find the spot, and then it's just, yeah, we're on them. That's what it's like. I look forward to the trip so much because, you know, I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I've got all my buddies there. I look forward to going on trips with my buddies up in the UP on Gogebic and Little Badenoch. Shout out to you, Crunky. And but the reality is now going on fit trips with the Fish Addictions guys over the last couple of years have become also they're my friend trips too. So it's another trip that I get that excitement. It's not another work trip. It's fun. I look forward to it, and I know we're going to be at cool spots, and I know we're going to sit around the cabin and laugh, and I know when somebody sets the hook on a big one and just misses and just hits the top of their shack or the rod goes. I mean, I know there's going to be some laughs and some jabbing and maybe some millennial jokes.
thrown in there. I knew you were going to point at that one more time.
But last millennial joke plug. So, but it's something that I really, really look forward to because yeah, we're out there and we're working, but it's really become a trip with friends and something that you know I start to look forward to. You know, the last couple of years we've done that Super Bowl trip up to Flag Island. How awesome is that?
Yeah, last year I left for the Super Bowl, but we were up for the trip that weekend, and you can't go wrong with Flag Island.
No, it's
not really Flag Island. I'm in Northwest
Lake of the
Angle.
Woods in general.
Yeah, that pristine. You never know what you're going to catch. Type of. I mean,
there's trophy fish of multiple species.
It's always fun. I mean, when you say you look forward to doing it, I mean, I look forward to it. I think it's fun having you on the road trips, and like I said, our latest one was up for Big Northern Pike, open water.
It was awesome.
And I mean, from the campfires to the boat rides to one of my favorite moments is sitting up next to you, going through 3 to 5 foot waves, no map, no depth charts,
Cedar
dead
Lake.
logs, and we're like, "There's one." We're like
deadheads in 30 feet of water.
It's like we're sitting on a like the big ship for the crab show or whatever.
Yeah, Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, Deadliest Catch. But we're just getting smoked in the face with waves, and we're like, dead.
It got real there a couple times, and to paint that, I can't wait till the episode comes out because you always paint it better than anybody with visuals. But we were standing up there with face masks on and gloves, and it was cold. Was that October? It's
this fall.
Oh yeah, so the episode will air this spring
This
because the open
upcoming
water
spring.
ones have a
Right.
little delay. But it was, remember, the day after we left, I knew another guy who was going up in that area for a hunt, and they had over a foot of snow. We left early, remember, because snow and rain was coming.
Yep.
So it was
Almost that
cold.
storm.
We're in Mike's 21-foot Warrior, and I always get a little nervous in a fiberglass boat when there's pylons of
Right.
wood sticking out.
Oh yeah.
I get nervous in any boat with that. And we're trying to get to this lake. There's no navionics. There's no contour map. And Aaron and I are standing on the windshield, and we're on plane, and literally these deadheads would be sticking out 3 to 4 inches above the water, and we caught a bunch of them.
4-foot waves, so like, you can barely see them. Snow, rain's hitting our face, and talk about a scary situation. Because if we hit a log and we go down, we would have probably died because
it wouldn't have been good.
it's cold enough, and no one's looking for you,
No, there's no people
and there's no
around.
other boats.
Especially that late in the season
Yeah,
up there.
there's definitely a scary situation, but
But it was
fun time. I mean,
We
did
lived
have
to
fun.
tell the tale.
Yeah, we lived. Mark that off the list. Every time we go out on a shoot, it runs through my head. We just filmed up Lake of the Woods, Wheelhouse, and in the last week and a half, 2 people have died within 45 minutes of here, falling through on a 4-wheeler. So we're going up to Lake of the Woods, and they don't allow big trucks up. So I pulled it up with my big truck, and then Marshall from Lake Road Lodge, he ended up taking it because they have the little SUV vehicles. He ended up pulling it out, and it runs through your head. I mean, every time you go out there, my mom's texting me, "Is it safe ice up there? Please check ice, blah, blah, blah." When we were in Bemidji, episode 1, we're sitting there jabbing our way out. We walked out. The whole episode's walking, no snowmobiles. We're checking ice, and because you never know. It's a scary thing. What gets me more scared
Yeah,
is when he
one for
says
me.
he's fallen twice
One for
in
this
the
guy.
middle of winter.
Yeah, you said yours were January.
That
Yeah.
scares me.
About a
'Cause
year
I go,
apart.
Shouldn't happen, but it does, and
And it was on a lake I knew.
you got to have respect.
Yeah.
I go 17 episodes out on sleds and walking and driving vehicles out there, and I just go into the fact that I need to shoot this episode. I don't go into the fact of trying to, think of my life flashing behind me because I'm just trying to get it done. And it's crazy to think you fell in twice, you fell in once. And I'm out on the lake quite a bit, so it makes me nervous.
When I went through, it was pre-striker ice.
Me too. I was wearing the old Carhartt, basically that would sop everything up.
Yeah, black Carhartts.
But that's the other thing you have to be careful about too. We all wear the striker gear, and we all, it's great stuff, right? But you also have to be careful not to get that false sense of confidence and bravado because you're gonna have float assist, but it's still dangerous to go through.
Yeah,
still cold,
I ran
it's
into
Hypothermia.
somebody that was talking about. I was like, "Oh, I have a striker suit, so I go out really early." And I said, "Yeah, it floats. I get that, but let me ask you a question." And he said, "Well, what was that?" I said, "If I put a life jacket on you and I threw you out of a boat going 65 miles an hour, would you want to do that?" "Oh, no." I said, "It's the same principle. It's a last resort thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You still got to be cautious."
I think we still have to beat that drum because you can't rest on that as your.
No.
Yeah, you don't think I'm going if I'm on plane on my boat going 65 and I fly out, I'll be fine. I have a life jacket on. So why do we think that on the ice? But it is a good thing, and it's much safer.
Yes.
And in fact, I just saw a post. I don't know if it was on Ice Fish Minnesota or one of the forums a day or two ago about a guy who went through in his float suit saved. He was thankful. He said his float suit saved his life. But and I work with a guy now who works with a fire department, Adam Walton, and he's a guide down on Lake Koshkonong, and he does a lot of ice safety stuff. And I've learned a lot from him. Just what to do, because there's a lot of other factors that go into it. You think you go in and you're going to pop out, but you forget a lot of times you go to pull yourself out and that chunk of ice is going to break. And then you go and until you really get on solid ice, you can keep picking yourself up and breaking ice off. It's not clean and cut. It's
Yeah, I've said that
be
before
serious.
too. I mean, it's one thing to know that you're going to float, but you have to know how to get yourself out in a short amount of
Certainly.
time.
And what to do afterwards, because hypothermia can hit. Shoot, it's -11 outside right now. What if you went through right now and you got out? You better get someplace.
You got
real
about 2
quick.
minutes.
Yeah,
About
it's
2
when you're
minutes.
wet. So you asked me, can I turn it around on you guys? I know it's your
Absolutely.
podcast,
Sure.
but What are each of your guys' favorite things about going on the Fish Addictions film trips?
To me, my mission is to get an episode. We just went to Lake of the Woods. We were there for about a day and a half, 2 days, and I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at. I'm like, sun's going down. We need 4 more fish. We need this. I'm like, and we can't stay another day. We have obligations the next day because we have to pack up and get ready for the next trip and this. So it's like, what always goes through my head is an episode. Shots. I have to deal with 6 different cameras. I have to deal with batteries. I have to deal with cars. I have to deal with batteries on wireless mics. Batteries with the, the drone, the everything.
Not to cut you off, but that's one thing. As an ice fisherman, I'm meticulous with my equipment, and I put a lot of time into it. And I watch you out there filming, and oh my gosh, do you have a lot of stuff to have to worry about? It would be interesting someday to see a show where a film crew is filming the film crew, because you have, and you're not all your equipment. It's not like an Ion or an Eskimo Auger or a Shack or something that was built to be out there. Your stuff's built for the studio.
I actually said this last trip, I don't know who I was talking to, Will or whatever. I said, I am waiting for the day a camera company comes up with a camera that can be rubberized. So because mine's metal, and what happens when your hand's -10? I don't wear gloves because it's easier for me to operate without. Thin gloves, okay, but and when trust me, when your finger peels off the camera, you know it's cold. When the screen starts to blur like this, but you know it's recording okay, but you're starting to move like this, it's cold. Now, if it could be like a rubber camera that was built for snow, built for rain, built for dust, and they built it for the average cameraman in the outdoor industry, that would be phenomenal. And I would buy it, even if it was a little bit more money than expected, because, you're dealing with cameras that are perfect in Florida, in a sense.
Or in a studio.
And it's okay. I mean, I set it down on the ice, and I've never had a problem with however much wind or cold. I mean, the lens freezes up, you scrape the snow off. If it rains, you put a bag over it, or you continuously wipe this. I mean, it happens. You deal with weather, and that's the worst. But that, to me, I'm always worried about getting an episode done. But my favorite thing is getting together with the guys, the girls, everyone that's a part of the group that we usually go out with, the new guests we go with, or you coming with us, and just that overall friendship bond. Because to me, I'm like, all right, 3 days, let's go 5 days in Canada. I know we're road tripping. I know we're
eating gas station food.
Yeah, getting gas station food, as usual. I know we're going to have a campfire. I know we're going to be grilling out. I know we're going to have fun. It's cabin life.
It's awesome.
Hashtag cabin life. That's my favorite.
Hashtag Coles Resort.
Hashtag Coles Resort. I mean, that's, even when people come here, it's the same thing where I know that it's going to be just, or if I go on a 3-day trip, or we went to Lake of the Woods, we stayed in the wheelhouse, and I know that we're going to be playing board games, we're going to be cooking. Like, it's just a bunch of friends fishing. And although I'm there for a job and everyone else is there for a job too, because they have to perform for me, I'm all about that bond and that friendship. And when we go to a podcast, they're like, what's your favorite thing about the podcast? So it's like, this would be boring if it was just me, or if it was just him. It's us together. It's just, we get together. It's fun. And when we do single podcasts, we have a blast.
Yeah.
Because we just talk about whatever. We just break the line.
It's fun.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
So being able to go on trips with you and all that stuff, that's my favorite part about Fish Addictions, because, or a trip, is because you never know what's going to come along with that trip. You don't know how the fishing's going to be till it's done. You don't know what games you're going to play, where you're going to go out to eat, what you're going to eat, if you're going to grill out, etc. I don't know what Patrick's is.
How about you, Patrick?
Well, I think Aaron made the most valid. For me, it's the same. It's my number one thing is, let's see, I'm starting my second film season with these guys, and already I just look forward to that moment when everybody starts arriving.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to jump in Aaron's truck with them. I can't wait to see my brothers and sisters. I know there's going to be laughs, hugs, high fives.
It's like the first day of school, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit of razzing.
Even if you see each other the next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll see you next week, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we don't see each other, and all of a sudden We're like, hey, started doing pounding. We're back. Like, hey, how's it going? Well, we went to Eskimo Pro Day, and when we got to the hotel, Josh walks up to you and goes, hey, or you went up to him, hey, brother. You know, he gives you that high five, that hug.
Maybe a little pat on the rear end. Just kind of, and I love the weirdness.
Do we need to pause this?
No.
Okay.
No, we're
The
good.
weirdness.
No.
We love the weirdness.
It's that,
It's okay to get
good
weird.
game coach kind of pat, you know?
Oh, that kind.
Yeah, yeah.
I was nervous.
And my second favorite part about it is the different locations. Now, I've just kind of stuck to the Bemidji area and stuff, but I got my life kind of mapped out for this winter, and I'm going to be taking some long road trips.
Nice.
It's
And
good
I'm really
'cause
looking forward to it.
when we leave from Bemidji, he can jump in the vehicle with me, and now we're road tripping together. Or Will is now a staff member here,
Yep.
and he's from Bemidji. He can hop in, and
Nice.
we can just. It's fun road tripping. I don't like doing it by myself.
No, it's so much and it's so much longer when you don't have a buddy in the truck.
Sometimes I meet Mike and I road trip with him, depending on how far we're going, or if we're just meeting at a spot. I road tripped an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours by myself, or with him, depending. It's good to be able to throw someone in there, but I think all three of us had kind of the same thing, that fun, friendship, camaraderie aspect, and that's what fishing should be about.
It's a common theme with all of it. Why I love the industry. Why we love going on. All those. Why I mean, it's all comes back to the people.
Yeah.
There's really great people that we get to work with.
Yeah.
So let's give away something. So you are going to give away a Beaver Dam tip-up and...
We'll do a Beaver Dam
Goodies.
prize pack. Yeah,
Prize
we'll
pack.
do a Beaver Dam Acme prize pack.
So let's do...
there'll be at least 2 Beaver Dam tip ups in there.
So message us Beaver Dam package. Is her thing open? I can
What?
hear it.
What's that? Yeah, it's been
Beaver
a
Dam
while.
package. Message us on Facebook,
Yes.
and you'll get in a drawing, obviously, for an awesome donation that Tony's doing
Thank
for
you,
us. We
Tony.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
The fans appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
We give away a lot of stuff on this show, and that's...
And all of our employees appreciate all the fanfare. We just did sort of a how it's made type episode on the Beaver Dam tip ups, and it's really cool. I mean, we're cutting spoons and making that stuff all in Wisconsin, and it's just old school. It's good.
You know
it's
what?
Good old school stuff, man.
I feel kind of bad. I have a Beaver Dam tip-up that I got for, let's see, I'm 44. It's probably my 12th birthday, 13th birthday, somewhere
Nice.
around there.
You have to remind me when we get
gonna bring
down to
that
the
back.
house.
Okay,
I have 2 old Beaver Dam tip-ups hanging up on the wall.
nice. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like people hand them down, and people get them from their grandpa and their dad.
I got mine for Christmas.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I mean,
Yeah, it's-
I have ones from when I was 6 years old, and we lived in Marquette, Michigan, and they literally say Tony Aloia, 433 East Arch Street, and that was where we lived when I was 6 until
Wow.
we bought a different house. Like that's still on
That's
there, and
awesome.
it's just
It's awesome,
it's
dude.
my it's kind of fun because it's like a gift. It's like people give them to each other, and they're
It's heirloom, man.
we're in a throwaway world, and those have replaceable parts, and it's not like a throwaway piece anymore. It's something that people give to each other and they hand down. So
Yeah, it's that whole heirloom piece,
and it's
Someday-
functional.
Yeah, I can hand this down to her because she loves to fish. So
When I found
and that's gonna be
when I
yours.
found those, I know I texted you about it, but when I found those and I quickly looked at the flag, I'm like, oh my god, it's a freaking Beaver Dam. What's the chances?
Uh-huh.
And it's still, you could use it to this day.
Oh yeah, you can. And you know how those things were originally made? Originally, the spool was a typewriter spool in the late 30s, and the family that had it, they were making them for each other for family use, and then a buddy wanted one, and then a buddy's buddy wanted one, and before you knew it, it became a business through the 30s and 40s, and it's kind of a cool deal, and they've pretty much remained unchanged. So one more question, if I get to ask one more.
yeah.
Yep.
What's your guys' least favorite part about filming? I'll share mine. I'll go first if you want, or I'll go last.
Go first.
The ride home. So depressing.
Ride home.
So sad. Depressing. It's over. It's like, oh, that was awesome. One more day. I miss my wife. I miss my family. You're just like, that was so awesome. Oh, there's that one spot we saw on the map and we wanted to hit it. And
Right.
I'm not going to see the guys now for a couple more weeks.
I'm pretty happy to go on, to be going home,
Well, you got to.
because I just do it again like the next week.
Right.
different spot, different thing, and I repeat the whole process.
So yeah, what would be your least favorite then?
Besides being
Besides
called a
work?
millennial.
Besides like the physical work, I would say the least favorite about it is being away from home.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because, I mean, when you're on the road, I mean, it's just time away from the family is hard, man. You get homesick once in a while, and it's not even just me. It's also, Haley's texting me. She's like, when are you going to come home? I remember just this past week, the Lake of the Woods trip. It was 2:30 in the afternoon. She was texting me. I was gone one day.
Yeah.
She was texting me. She's like, when are you going to be home? Oliver's being stubborn, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
He gets that from his
still
daddy.
good. Yeah. I'm like, he does. I'm like, it's still good fishable ice, still dark. So
Yeah.
we're fishing till dark. I mean, I'll be home when I'm home. I need to get this episode done.
Oh, the other worst one
Yeah.
is when they're home and they're getting dumped on with snow, and and you're up there fishing, and it's like, there's a foot of fresh snow in the driveway, and Nicole's got to go take care of it. She grew up on a farm; she's got no problem
Gotta
doing
go
that.
shovel.
But it's like you just sort of feel bad. What about you,
Yeah, what's
Patrick?
your least?
My least favorite part about filming an episode? Oh, look at that. Side jerky.
Slim Jim just
very
comes.
hot.
Yeah. Well, we'll just let her chill out.
Slim Jim comes
Sorry,
hits him in the
little
face.
There's
interruption.
some cheese to cool it down if you want. While your dad's talking, I'll get it set up for you.
Thanks.
So my least favorite would be the fact that the being away from the family. I think that's the absolute worst, the worst part of it all. I mean, I don't know. Work is also it, but if you work in a spot of what you love to do, right? It's not really work. And
Yeah.
so even though it is work, I enjoy doing it as work, but it's still work. And I know I have to repeat the process over and over and over and over and over.
Sorry. Tom.
But we have our surprise, lovely Ellen that's getting her
She'll
snack
make an
on.
appearance here in a little bit. But
She's getting her snack
She's
on.
got really good
Getting a
manners too. She
snack.
said thank you multiple times.
my least favorite part is when Aaron makes the announcement of, guys, I need 3 more fish.
Yeah.
And there's boom, boom, boom. In my head, I'm like, that's 3.
That's a wrap, boys.
And Aaron's like, all right, guys, I need 4 more.
Not so much.
And you look down, and your hands are like this dark purple, your fingertips. You got
Wondering if you're ever gonna be able to tie
your
your shoes
plastics
again.
are just torn apart. You got the spoons hanging from your clothing, and you're just like, all right,
You
4
can never
more.
have
But no,
too
all
much
jokes
footage.
aside,
For sure.
all jokes aside, I'd have to say, yeah, the end of filming, like, all right, I got to say goodbye to these guys for a little while. I don't like to quit fishing, but
No.
Sometimes
at
it's good
times
'cause
in the
we
winter,
get
though, it's a
rowdy.
little bit easier.
We get rowdy sometimes.
Nothing
But
wrong with that.
unlike that's most groups of people that go out and fish.
All my rowdy
So,
friends.
I mean, I can see, where it's like, it's sad that you have to go, especially it's a 3-day trip, but you go up in Canada for 5 days, and it's like, so we're doing a Manitoba trip to,
That was a bad question to ask now that I think about it. I mean, it's sad, but you realize people are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, oh, there's a bad part about going up to Canada for 5 days. What a bunch of jerks.
yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah,
It's
maybe like
awesome. But it is interesting to know the sad part. And when the sad part's going home or being
Well,
away
most-
from home, that's a real thing.
The sad
away
part
from
is
home is
being
hard.
away from home,
Mm-hmm.
and the other sad part is leaving the friends.
Yeah.
And those are two really good answers to someone who would think, oh, there's a bad part to it. Yeah, there is a bad part to it. Being
Yeah.
away from your family and leaving the location you're on with your friends. Those are two bad things.
And if those weren't, things that we felt or things that you go through, there'd be other issues. So it's probably
Right.
good that those are.
We're doing a episode up in Manitoba in the future, 17 hours north.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that road trip vlog because
Wow.
that'll be good.
How far north were we when we went up
10
and did the
hours.
casting? So another 7 beyond that. You
Are
going
we
to
fishing
drive or
char?
take Santa's sleigh or
We
what?
are going up to a resort in a location that has giant Lake trout, northern, and walleye.
Ooh,
Yellow
yeah.
golden walleye.
Mike gave me that sneak
Big,
preview.
big lake trout.
40
and
pounders. through the
40
ice.
plus
Yeah.
pounders. And big northerns. And we're doing it ice fishing.
Manitoba's nuts.
March. So be on the lookout past March time.
Lake Winnipeg. Every
Could a
place
guy
I've ever
peel
been.
off to the side and look for some burbot?
Yes.
They're probably huge there. I'll
That's
tell
what
you
I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not that
This
I wouldn't
is-
partake in
that's-
all the other stuff.
That's
but
the night project.
You in on that with me?
Yes.
If we do this?
We'll call that after hours.
Ooh.
We'll call it the after hours.
Yep.
We'll do a broken line vlog on it or something.
That'd be pretty sweet. I'm in. I'll stick it out.
Cool. Yeah, because like
I want to catch a big bird, but I've caught some small ones. I've never gotten a big one. And then one deal, you have to cook it for us.
you want that mac and cheese? Bourbon mac and
Did
cheese?
you watch that from last
If
year?
I can go all sling blade on us. Mm-hmm.
That eel pump mac and cheese was good, and we need to do it again this winter.
I will.
But add a few more different cheeses and change it up a little. It was
Yeah.
so
My
good.
mom has the best mac and cheese recipe anyway. It's
Can,
got
can you-
5 varietals
can
of
she
cheese.
please?
Let's.
Can she please give it to me? I'm a mac and cheese fanatic.
Oh,
Actually, I'm not
Done.
even good at making it. I just want to eat it.
DUN done. I'll get it for you.
I don't
just
even
made
think I
like
can
2
make
pounds in the crock pot the other day.
it. I'm a mac and cheese fanatic. I love mac and lobster mac and cheese, eel pump mac and cheese.
Yep.
Regular mac and cheese.
I will get it for you. She makes it at Christmas. She puts a little ham in it all the time.
Oh.
It's phenomenal.
stop.
But we could go eel pout. We could go ham.
Could do
it's
ham and
the
eel
best
pout?
I've ever had.
Oh,
And
yeah.
of course, one of the keys is just getting some good noodles, right? You're not just any off this. I mean, you want to get
The
you
good
wanna
stuff.
Spoil yourself a little with the pasta.
Okay.
So we have
Cool.
for sure broke the line, which is what we do here.
Yeah, this is now turned into the 3 Fat Kid podcast.
This is what we do here. But what's your favorite like part of fishing? Do you like open water better than ice fishing? Get into me a little bit about, because we talked about your business side, company side.
Sure.
But tell me about your fun ice fishing side. Obviously, you go on photo shoots, you go on video shoots. Tell me a little bit about ice fishing, open water. Do you rather open water? Do you rather ice fish? What's your favorite fish to catch?
Yep.
Etc.
I love, and I think this is
We can
probably.
break the line on this for a couple minutes.
I think this is probably a common theme with the guests that you've had. Maybe not. But I love my boat, but I love even more putting it away every year and getting my ice gear out. I
hear ya.
I love it.
I second that.
It's nice to be out in the sun. It's nice to go for a ride, take the family for a ride, take Nicole for a ride, whatever. Take my parents out. But I like being on the ice. It's just something about it. I don't know. I can't. I've been trying to put a finger on it. I think some of it's nostalgic for me. Growing up in the UP, I remember going out, setting tip-ups on Harlow Lake, and as a kid, just fishing with my dad and going
I
out there.
forgot we
when I was
did
young.
the Lake Gogebic episode.
The
with you.
Gogebic episode for sure.
That was a fun, because that's your state. That's your
Mhm.
the
UP, man.
Upers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Paulding Light,
the Paulding Light.
lots of good stuff.
That's see, that right there is something that the average viewer doesn't get to see on Fish Addictions. Was like the Paulding Light trip.
Yeah,
So when we finished the walk-in trip, it wasn't even the Gogebic trip. It was the walk-in trip, right? That's what it was.
yeah.
The walk-in trip where we did that 2-mile walk-in type deal. We then went to the Paulding Light after, and if no one knows what the Paulding Light is,
Tell them. Now you got it.
Now I gotta
Now we're
tell 'em.
going down that foxhole.
Okay, so if no one's heard of the Paulding Light, it's this cutaway in upper Michigan.
Yep.
That is
Near the Porcupine Mountains.
Yep, 2 tree lines that go left side, right side. It's like a long stretch of telephone poles that go down through this trail. You follow this dirt road to the end, and then all of a sudden there's a sign and there's a fence that tells you to stop. And you can look up the ridge line, and it eventually goes up the hill to the point where it then probably dips down again, way up there. And the story is, actually there's multiple stories. I'll tell my version because I think yours is different, but
Sibley's is different.
Sibley's is different. So yours is maybe the same as mine. So
Yes.
mine is a train. I don't know if that's yours, but a train conductor, worker, whatever on the train got his head cut off. Have you ever heard of the Paulding?
Yeah, you told
So
me
he
about
got his
this.
head cut off, and he's walking around with a lantern, looking for his head. And what you see is a glowing light that flies through the air. And I've gone there 4 times, and I have always seen the frickin' light, and I've always never been alone. There's always a vehicle there. 1 a.m, vehicle. 2 a.m, there's a vehicle. 11 o'clock at night, there's someone there. And this is the middle of nowhere in the UP,
God's country.
It's right over the borderline of Wisconsin, Minnesota, or Michigan, and look up the videos. Take a trip if you're ever there. I want to go back. Me as a photo video guy, I'm interested in that kind of stuff. And I'm interested in ghosts and that kind of stuff. So when I see this floating light flying
legit.
through the thing, it's awesome. So that's just some of the stuff that the average, because it's hard to film that. It's hard to film a nighttime ball floating through the air and try to put it in an episode. But it is some of the stuff we do that is fun. Mike didn't believe in it. And once we told it to him, he said, well, if we're only 45 minutes away, we got to go do it. And we did. And
Did he see it?
Oh, we all saw it. It was there. Yeah. Took maybe 10 minutes.
He'd be a believer now.
10 minutes and it came up. And people start to say, well, it's headlights shooting through this or this or this, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you what, when that thing flies right at you, I don't know. But
So yeah, ice. Ice fishing is my favorite.
Ice fishing is your favorite. What's your favorite fish to catch? And you're coming from...
I'm a walleye guy first, but I love panfish. I lived outside of Chicago and in northern Indiana, and panfish grow big. I found there's obviously big panfish up north all over, but they have a longer growing season the further south you get, and so I love chasing big panfish too. So it's a horse apiece for me. I love going to Gogebic and chasing perch, but it's definitely ice. It's the communal aspect. I love just feeling like I'm out. I'm hunkering down. I'm out. It's winter. It's snowing. It's cold. It's blowing, and I'm out there just doing it. And plus, it makes winter in the UP, northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, wherever you live, and you're listening to this. I mean, it makes winter a lot better. I couldn't imagine winter in the North Country if I didn't ice fish. Wow.
Yeah, you have to do something and go nuts.
Yeah.
Snowmobile or Netflix?
It's snowmobile and Netflix probably, because there's a lot of time. I can't imagine how much time I'd have if I didn't ice fish either, huh?
Right.
Be scary.
Yeah,
Well, I got to thinking about that. On my way home from work, I drive by the south end of Lake Bemidji, and you see all these fish houses out.
I saw them today. I was like,
And
damn, I didn't know.
I think this is why I really enjoy ice fishing more, is chances are when you see people on the ice, there's a 80% chance you know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you don't, you already have that common bond. You see people in boats, and it's they're just boaters.
That gunnel is like a dividing line,
Right.
But you just walk
Like
up,
the
shake
south
guy's
end of
hand.
Bemidji, it's the same fish houses year after year in the same spots. And I know all those guys, they walk between the houses throughout the night, handing out beers or pizza, checking on fish. Hey, do you need this? Do you need that?
Knocking on the door. Hey, I got some extra minnows. I won't be out here
it's
for a
a
week.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it is. It's lakefront property without the taxes.
Right on.
So it's just that communal aspect, and it is. It's all. You're right. People in boats get a little finicky, and people in boats get a little bit, territorial. And it seems like on the ice, it's one thing if somebody comes and drills right next to you, but most of the time it's a guy walking up, like you said, and hey, I got a pizza here, or made some burgers, got an extra one. You want it? I mean, it's just like, how you doing? And all of a sudden you got a new friend.
Yeah.
the
Here's the key to my house. I'm not going to be there. Can you open up the holes for me?
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
you're going to be there. Yeah, sure. I'll take care of it for you. I hear it happen all the time.
I don't know how many guys I've seen on the ice, they're leaving and, hey, I'm not going to fish for a week. You want my minnows? Or, hey, when does that that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And you just don't see that in the
thanks,
summer.
Man. And you do the same back to them, hey, I got a half dozen minnows here. I got to go out of town. You want them? Yeah, thanks, man. How was the fishing today? And all of a sudden, half hour later, you're having a beer or a bottle of water with them and talking, and next thing you know, you're friends on Facebook.
Friends.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're friends on Facebook. Yeah, that's the best way. What was your favorite thing about working with Eskimo? Like, I mean, it's a job, it's a work, but
it wasn't. It's not. Working in the fishing industry, it's a job, but it's a passion too. There's not one.
Because let's say the guys from Eskimo, we've gained
friends,
super close to all of them.
family.
and there's not a lot of them, and they're all very, very awesome people. So I'm guessing that's one of your answers for it. But was there anything specific? I mean, you were on the road a lot and stuff, but that just comes with the...
Yeah, it was a lot of travel, but, you know, like you guys said, if it's a passion, then it doesn't feel like work. So it was, aside from the people, because that's number one, it was a family. Just getting to come up with the ideas and test the products and waking up in the middle of the night with an idea and saying... And just literally there were nights where you'd go to the office or pull your computer up and start to document the idea because it was an idea that related to an auger or a shack or something you were going to do. So just being able to materialize the ideas that you have as a fisherman and then put those into functional pieces in a product was pretty cool and pretty exciting. And I still work with those guys as pro staffer and still talk to
National pro staff.
And still talk to the National Pro Staff.
Or I can think
Your
of
voiceover
National American University. That's really good.
But, you know, still talk to those guys. Those are bonds that'll last a lifetime. And it's the same thing at Acme. Just, you know, it's the great people. It's the coming up with new colors and ideas.
It's what we find is in every company that's around.
The guys at 13, same way.
It's the same. It's everywhere you go. And the only way you're going to make it in this industry is if you're... I mean, we treat all of our sponsors here at the Broken Line the same way. Fish Addictions, we treat all of our sponsors the same way, like family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all on the same page, and we're all... I mean, that's what it is. I mean, how did you and me meet? You and me.
You and I met filming Eskimo stuff. We had some cool new products coming out. Patrick, you probably don't know this story, but
No.
we had some cool new products coming out, and as we were evolving our marketing, I was making a push to get more at the time. YouTube was the big thing, YouTube content and some Facebook content and also some in-store stuff. And I said, wow, we have no video. And I think it was probably been 5 years, Aaron. It's probably been 2012. We could actually go back and look when those first product videos came out. I think
it was 5, and then we did 4 the next year, and then Fish Addictions was the next 3 years.
And that's an interesting story because... It's funny we talk about
Tim Furch?
Well, the Furch aspect of it, but we talk about how small the industry is and how things come around. I've got dozens of stories like this, but Furch said, "I know a guy, you got to talk to him from Bemidji. He does great work. I saw some of his work. I knew that you had done some stuff with the Next Bite and those guys, and I know those guys, and they vouched for how talented you were, and you were willing to drop what you were doing. You were, I think, on a clam shoot, and I called you, and you were like,
Might have been.
I'll be home next week, and we better hurry. We're going to lose ice. So I loaded up the truck.
Remember we drove around, we looked for ice for like 30, 40 minutes, trying to find a lake we can actually get out on.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Brainerd area.
And it was, that was the start of it. We filmed those videos. We kept in touch. We filmed more the next year. And then...
Next year we did more. I went Cumberland, the staff.
Yes, you came down to a staff day with Kyle and Scotty and Troy.
Mike and Josh and Troy.
And the whole crew was down there. I don't know that Josh was there yet.
Yeah.
Was Josh there?
Yeah.
Josh was there.
I remember
Sorry,
the video.
Josh.
Both of them.
But then... So in between then, actually, it's kind of funny how things all go full circle. So Aaron and I, we kept in contact, and I was like, wow, this guy's really talented. He makes great videos. He's fun to work with. I mean, literally, half the time you got to do a recut because you're cracking up after he make a comment or make some reference.
I talked about it with on the other podcast with the Shack Talk. I was just telling them, I was like, do you remember when I told you guys... Do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Do it again.
You guys, he's all fun and games behind the microphone, behind the camera.
Do it again.
No comment.
It's like boot camp.
It's boot camp. It's filming 101 with Aaron Eichhorst.
Do it again.
So then, in the meantime, this is kind of how it all comes full circle. Mike and Josh came to me in between that and had this great GoPro show that they were doing called Fish Addictions, and they had a cool intro and. They were really working hard at it, and I liked.
They were filming each other back and forth. They would have Tabor and their kids that would come out, and they did an episode in a 949 like that. It was really cool. And whether you remember it or not, I was sitting. It was like dinner time later that night after we were filming, and I told you, I said, we need to do an Eskimo YouTube series.
Yep.
And you said, I got the 2 guys.
Yep.
And then later that night, or it was later that night, or was the first night, because we stayed 2 nights? I think it was the
2.
first night, before the fun night. The first night, I went to their hotel room, and we they were showing me their camera gear, and we kind of have a conversation, and next thing you know, Fish Addictions TV was slightly born from there on out. We started the pilot, and
it was perfect to pair you guys up, because the part you might not have known was I knew they wanted to do it. I knew they had the drive, the passion. When Mike gets something in his head, it's pretty much going to happen. Actually, there's a lot of people that are in our circle of friends that when they put their mind to something, it's going to happen, which makes it fun. And I was also kind of plugging you guys at the same time, or you at the same time to them, because to take it to the next level, I knew they needed your talents.
they needed a video.
And they had all the pieces in place, and the passion and the drive and the concept and the story. Mike's story is really great about how, he wanted to do it a little different, and he caught a great fish, and it was bashed on the forums, and he started with a forum, and then it started with some YouTube stuff. But the one piece they were missing to take it to the next level was the professional, camera work. So at that same time that I was kind of pumping them to you, it was vice versa. I was pumping you to them, and Mike's like, I'm like, you need to meet this guy. He's really talented. And then you guys just culminated it from there. And
2 years later, Fox Sports North, over 2 million views.
Fox Sports North and Wisconsin. Fox Sports Wisconsin, and then all your YouTube stuff.
It's crazy what it developed from there on out.
Yeah,
Super awesome.
That's the other fun part of the industry, right? Connecting the dots and just bringing, that's one of my favorite things just in general in life to do, bringing one good person that you have from this little universe and one person from this universe and making them meet. And they're going to, the minute they meet each other, they're going to be friends, just like you're friends with each of them. So it's fun.
Do you want to hit him with a rapid? Just anything?
Yeah.
Just rapid. So rapid, he's going to, I'll maybe throw some in there too, but we do it with everyone. We say this or this, and you just give us a low-key, quick answer.
Yeah.
Got it.
So are you ready?
Ready.
Here we
Is
go.
that the first question?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that
That should be always the first question, but it's not.
Okay.
The first official question of the rapid fire segment here is Star Trek or Star Wars?
Not really a fan of either. Sorry.
What? Whoa.
Did you go and see the
Back up,
new
Terry.
Star Wars?
Back it
No,
up.
not
Terry.
yet. I'm waiting
Okay.
My cousin is in from Dearborn, Michigan,
Back it up, Terry.
and he actually took me to the Star Wars in the theater.
So if I had to pick one, I'd go Star Wars.
There you go.
Probably, but I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. I'm more fishing shows and anything that Aaron Icorst does.
Packers or Vikings?
Bears.
Whoa. We don't even know what to say there.
I don't even know what that look was for. If you don't like my answer, I'll take that summer sausage back with me.
No,
I might try and get
the
into that
answer's
later
fine.
tonight.
We just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
We were all ready to,
I don't.
razz either way.
You
But
know Packers don't
I'm
like
sensing.
Bears.
I'm just gonna
You
warn
know
you guys
Packers
now.
don't like Bears. You know Vikings don't like Bears. So really,
I'm just gonna warn you guys now. I'm sensing about a 2025 to 2026 Super Bowl run.
we have to wait that long, huh?
Every 40 years or so. Yeah.
Every 40 years.
The struggle is real.
Savage. That's terrible. Every 40 years, struggle's real. Yeah, that is what it is. And you already answered the ice fishing over open water. You'd rather do ice fishing.
Ice.
The ice fishing. Do you have another one, Patrick?
Well, let me see here. SpaghettiOs or ramen?
Ooh, that's a good one.
SpaghettiOs. I'm Italian.
With meatballs or without?
With.
I had a can of SpaghettiOs down in the house the other day, and I looked at Haley. I looked at him. I said, "Who the beep doesn't put? Who buys a can without meatballs?
It's a psycho move.
That's terrible.
It's a total psycho
I do.
move.
I've bought. I don't trust the meat in there.
Oh, either do I. But every bite has to have a meatball in it when it goes in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's and then you're like, oh, there's a little bit of noodles left. Garbage. Throw it away. It's gotta have meatballs.
What if I
in it.
shot that back at you guys and I threw Denny Moore as a third option?
Oh, well, I'd
Well,
take
that's
Denny Moore
clear
anytime.
winner.
You think it's horse meat? That's the rumor.
Denny
I've
Moore,
heard.
it's good.
Who
It
cares
could be
what
horse
is?
meat or
whatever.
Freaking
I mean,
human.
horses.
It's
yeah.
good.
Wow,
we don't want
that's
to get
cryptic.
we don't want to get PETA involved, but I have heard that rumor before. But that's just a rumor. I'm not saying that. So I don't, because I don't really have an attorney. So if Denny Moore comes after me, I'm sure Hormel.
What does Acme have coming out that's of interest to chat about? I know that if we're okay to chat about the new stuff that's coming out, or maybe even already is out.
It's already out. The new stuff for this ice season.
Is it Rattlemaster?
Rattlemaster's been out. That's
What's
a
the
Castmaster with a rattle. Hyper Rattle.
Hyper Rattle.
That's on the shelves now. So that's a jiggy minnow style bait with a built-in rattle and just super cool finishes.
And we did that up in Manitoba. We were fishing with that.
We used that open water. We did well with it. The two things that I'd say, the tungsten that came out this year, also really nice finishes.
The tungsten.
But the two baits, man, especially since I've been at Acme, that I've really learned to love are the really, really small Castmasters, like the 32nd ounce Castmaster,
Yep.
the pink Tiger Glow that came out this year, and the Hammered Gold. Absolutely killer. And I love them because a small spoon like that, you weed out the little bluegills, you weed out the smaller crappies, although they'll still hit it. But you can still drop down and get a walleye on them, or the 20, but yet you could pop big gills all day. So
That Rattlemaster, I can't get enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
I've caught some really nice fish with it. The one thing that I do is I take that treble off and put it with a single hook.
Single.
Yep. I have the
It's your
same
tip of
hookup
the day.
percentage. It's just my hands get so cold, and then the panfish's mouth is so small, and you get 3 hooks buried in there. It's just easier hook out for me, and my plastics and if I'm using live bait seem to hang a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that part of it? I mean, I suppose officially, working for the factory, you should say, oh, it's just right the way it comes out of the box. But it's good no matter how you like to tune it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you like to put your little, alterations on it, that's awesome. As long as it catches fish, right? And
It just
yeah.
can't
We
get
were
enough of it.
for the bluegill episode this year. We were Mike and Brian were both catching them off of. I don't think it was the one with wings.
The Hyperglide.
The Hyperglide. It might have been the Hyperglide. I'm just not sure. But I mean, definitely the one
It
with
was
the tail on the back.
The Hyperglide with the rattles in it.
The Hyper Rattle.
Hyper Rattle.
So there you go. And we were catching, big bluegills with that.
Yeah.
And we just came up from Lake of the Woods. We were catching. Favorite color was I believe Castmaster, the pink
Tiger Glow.
stripes or whatever. Yeah, I think that was the top ones out of that.
What's your guys' favorite color? If you had to pick one bait,
I like
color.
I like looking the clown
Okay.
color, pink, white, and gold.
Yeah.
Those 4. And then what's the green? Chartreuse. Yeah. Those 5 would be my top. From me, filming experience-wise, watching, those are top 5 goes.
What about you?
go-tos.
My number one favorite color is Fire Tiger.
Okay.
And any sort of Fire Tiger with a like a gold side, like a
A
gold.
metallic type Fire Tiger.
Yep, metallic Fire Tiger.
I'll tell you
A
what.
lot of critters under that water eat
Everything
young into
eats
your
a perch, right? Everything eats a perch, including me and you
Yeah.
and you and little Ellen over there.
I like
Yep.
eating perch.
I'll tell you what. That's been one fun thing for me working at a tackle company is now I get all the data as to what sells and where. So it's almost like, if I go to this part of the country, ooh, I better bring a chrome with a blue stripe.
Yeah.
You got the super inside.
Like that's data that is like, ooh, mind blowing.
That's
oh wow.
the data for sure.
You guys want to know the most surprising one for me? White, especially on the plastics. We make
I said
kalins.
white.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Me coming in as an angler, I've become a big pink guy over the last couple of years. Chartreuse has always been good. Orange has always been good. White, when I look at the data, and I've started to use it more because I'm like, wow, we sell a lot of white plastics. Yeah. Wow, we sell a lot of white jig heads. Boom, so kind of exciting.
Did we lose a GoPro?
I
We
think
lost
so.
a Goey Pro. Well, maybe that means that's time.
Yeah. Ellen, you want to come over here?
Come over here.
Thank you, Alan. She made me a sandwich.
Come here, honey.
So, I was literally just about to end it, even though we just lost the GoPro anyways. But
I would agree with you. White on plastics.
It was
Killer.
it was news to me. You know, you have your go-tos. That was just eye-opening.
So let's get Ellen over here so we can see what the distraction of the day was.
Yep.
But the best
All
part
the
of
little
the day
rumblings and me disappearing.
was Ellen. So super awesome. Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
We
I've been
rambled.
looking forward to this all week.
We rambled for well over an hour and 20 minutes. So we almost hit our time. But we got Ellen in the studio as well. She's chowing down crackers.
Oh, just hold on. We're almost done.
But I had an awesome time. I think you were this. There's always a first in the Broken Line studio, right?
Yeah. Hey, she can do the broken line.
Yeah. Why don't you close it out? Say.
What?
She can just say I was listening to the Broken Line, or
Say it.
you've been listening to the Broken Line podcast.
You say that? Oh, she's not
she
good
can't.
now.
We'll say it with you, Ellen.
Should all of us say it together?
You got to get close up to the microphone.
Oh, I guess she doesn't
No?
want
All
to.
right.
Okay.
Well, I'm Aaron,
I'm Tony.
I'm Patrick.
and this is.
The Broken Line.
Thank you for listening to Broken Line Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.